Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing my first Q&A video. I actually had a lot more people get in my DMs and drop some questions for me than I expected. So I'm gonna hit as many as I can. If I don't get to yours, I'll try to hit them next time, guys. So we're gonna get rolling right off the bat here. My first question, what were some of your most difficult challenges in being a PT? So, as you guys know, I was a personal trainer for 5 years. I've worked with hundreds of clients, all different client shapes, sizes, goals, so on. So, I mean, some of my most difficult challenges were, physical and mental. Now, when I first became a trainer, obviously it's developing the confidence to have someone trust you and show them that you can change their life and that they should invest with you. And so you're just going back on your knowledge and showing them that you know what you're talking about, you practice what you preach, and building that relationship with them is how you overcome that one. Going into the clientele, you have all different types of clients. I mean, I remember my first time having MS and cerebral palsy and Parkinson's and all different, like sciatica and so on. And as a new trainer, you're like, how am I going to overcome this? What am I going to do? This is more than just weight loss. I remember one of my clients, Robert, he comes to me. I'm only a few months into being a personal trainer, and he asked for me specifically because he saw my poster. And he sits down with me and weight loss first off. He was an elderly client as well, but his main thing was Parkinson's. So he tells me, all right, I have pretty bad Parkinson's disease. My knees are both replaced. I had a shoulder surgery and I have limited range of motion. And I'm sitting there as a new trainer just shitting my pants. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this guy? So it's funny looking back at it, but I was like, what am I gonna do? Am I take him through a walk through the park? Like, he can't do anything. I remember taking him on a hoist ab machine. He couldn't do the lowest setting, couldn't do it once. So I took a step back and I started with the basics, took it slow. And I actually ended up working with him for 4 years. And he was day and night by the end of working with him. His Parkinson's was in so much better control. He was moving better. And we definitely changed his life and how he was able to deal with the problems that he did have. Other difficulties that I had were mentally. So you have to learn your clients in and out. You're not only a trainer, you're a life coach, you're a motivator, you're a mentor, you're a therapist. These clients bring so many problems to you when you're training them in person. So I've helped clients with relationships and work and just mentally breaking down. And these clients, I mean, they trust you. You're like a superhero to them, and you have to learn how to deal with clients and the different mentalities that they have. Some clients, they need the hard love. They need you to get on their ass and grind on them. But other ones need you to hold their hand pretty much. They need a good friend. And you have to learn which clients are which and how to be there. And a good trainer should be able to go above and beyond for their clients. And the clients should know that. Clients will read through you if you're just doing it for the money. And that's why I was so successful as a trainer. I rarely had to get a new client because my clients loved working with me. They knew I would do anything to help them. And I trained them for years. So those were the difficulties I came about and conquered, and there are so many more on top of that. Next question, what is the difference in a complete and incomplete protein? Which should I consume to build lean muscle mass? All right, differences between these two types of proteins. And a lot of people don't know there are differences in the protein sources that you take. Now, when you are allowed a certain macro percentage or a certain amount of grams of protein, you can utilize both of these kinds of proteins to hit that number. However, you need the mass amount of your protein coming from complete sources. Complete sources have all of your essential amino acids, and essential amino acids are those that your body does not produce on its own. It can't make them on its own, so it needs to rely on your nutrition to bring that in, and whether it's your nutrition or supplementation. Now, complete proteins are going to include things like chicken, seafood, eggs. Those are going to be options for complete proteins, and this should be, again, the bulk of what you're consuming for protein. But that doesn't mean you can't have those trace proteins, the incomplete proteins, and that's going to be, things like nuts and broccoli and black beans, just things like that, right? They're not full-blown hardcore protein. They don't have all the essential amino acids, but they have the trace proteins that are going to help add up to that number that you have to be taking in per day. So very, very important that you know the difference and you know which ones you should be consuming the most of. When going through my periodization of building lean muscle mass, how should I manipulate my lift tempos to get the best results? Or how do you find the best that works for you? So periodization is very important. As I mentioned in my video about nutrition, you have to get your body to get out of plateau. So your body tries to survive in an environment, it adapts to the environment, and you don't want to always adapt. So you got to pay attention to your body in the gym. When you're going through one phase or one period, you have to know if your body's plateauing. If you do the same thing over and over and over, day to day, month to month, year to year, those are the individuals you see in the gym that stay the same. They never change. So you have to know, if I'm plateauing, I got to change something. I got to try something different to throw my body in a different environment and now allow my body to readapt and rebuild strength and muscle and so on. So going forward with that question, they talk about what can I do to build lean muscle? So what periodization is going to work to build as much lean tissue as possible? Now, obviously, again, it's different individual to individual. What I believe works for building good quality muscle is going to be starting with blunt force trauma. You have to have a mature muscle base to build off of. You can't go straight into volume training and expect to put on a lot of size. We need to do strength training and really hammer down on that muscle, really get in there and use heavier weights. Obviously with good form, we don't want to just swing around weights and hurt ourselves, but good form and heavy weight and just keep wearing down that muscle. Once you get that solid muscle base, now we can really build off of that. Now we can switch to a different phase and we can work with lower weights and higher repetitions, because now we want to get into volume. You can use that lean, solid muscle and start building it and start rounding the muscles and using your mind to muscle connection. The biggest thing is going to be really focusing on what's happening during the contraction and what's happening during the extension in this phase. A lot of people, they just swing a dumbbell around. But if you drop the weight and you focus on what's happening from point A to point B, not just getting from point A to point B. What am I squeezing? What am I releasing with? If you're focusing in on that and you start adding things like negatives into your workout, now you're going to start building really good muscle tissue. So starting with the heavy weights, going into lighter weights and adding in negatives and higher reps is really going to start bringing out the shape to that muscle. Obviously that's over an extended period of time. Again, it really differs with different individuals and how much body fat they're carrying, how long they've been working out for, and so on. Next one is, what got you and keeps you motivated to live a healthy lifestyle? All right, so I'll talk a little bit about how I started and why I kept with everything that I was doing. So obviously right now I'm focusing on going professional in bodybuilding and, going to great places with that. But how did I get to this point? So, I started out as an athlete. My brother and I were always multi-sport athletes, and I always grew up playing baseball, football, and I tried track. Running wasn't for me. However, I stopped baseball when I got into high school, and I wanted to focus solely on football. Then what happened there is I found out there was a powerlifting team, and a lot of the football guys were on the powerlifting team, and I figured, all right, I want to get stronger for football. So I joined the powerlifting team. Now, in the beginning, I kind of didn't take it that serious. I would skip workouts with my friends, and I just kind of went and, worked out for a little bit. And some of the upperclassmen, they told me, hey, you're pretty good at this. You should try and do a competition. And I was like, I guess maybe I'll try our home competition. So I did my first competition and I placed second place. And I was like, dang, I am pretty good at this. So then I found my love for powerlifting. And so I competed for the rest of high school, and I went to every meet. I took it serious from that point. I never skipped a workout. I fell in love with working out. I went to state multiple times, nationals multiple times. My senior year, I won state. I was runner up at nationals. I qualified for the world team. So, it was my thing. And how I stayed motivated, obviously the upperclassmen got me into it, but it really became my passion. And I believe that everyone needs to find a passion in life. If you live your life without a passion, what are you living life for? So you got to find that one thing that you can strive for. And that was it for me. I was good at it. I loved it. It was doing great things for me mentally and physically. And at that point, everything just started spiking. So at that point, obviously I'm looking into supplements. I'm starting to read magazines. I'm seeing all these bodybuilders in the magazines like Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman. I'm like, dang, these guys are insane. So I kept going forward with that. And once I got into about senior year of high school, that's when I started cleaning up my diet a little bit. I was still living with my parents, so, I couldn't, I didn't have a job. I couldn't afford to make what I wanted to, so I would still eat the foods that they were making for dinner and so on, which weren't bad, but they weren't like super clean like what I'm eating now. But things I was doing is I took out chips and soda and soup and all the little things, and I would never touch fast food. And I was really cleaning that up because I wanted to take my physique to a different level. And then I noticed my performance was just spiking. So out of high school, what happened was I was taking it super serious, but my body was just dying from powerlifting. My back was crap, my knees were going, I got clavicular osteoitis in my collarbone, so it was weightlifter's shoulder, and I was like, man, I'm way too young for my body to be going to crap like this. And that's when I decided, all right, I'm done with powerlifting. I loved it, but that chapter is done. So I moved forward and I started training more like a bodybuilder. I took the weights back and started doing different kinds of movements. Now, I wasn't competing. I had no interest in competing. That's just how I was lifting. But I also became a trainer at this time, and that's when I started eating on point and everything was just going forward. So staying motivated, again, I mentioned that it was my passion, but as I moved forward in life, I started realizing you do only live once. And when I talk about only living once, what you need to do is have a healthy body this one time you have it. Like, why do people kill off their bodies? That's a whole nother conversation. But I wanted to bring my body to levels that I could never think of. I was given one body and I only have one shot at it. So I wanted to see what this amazing human body is capable of. I want to take it to extremes that most people don't take their bodies to. And mentally, I think it doesn't even have to be about your body. You should live your life based on productivity. If you're not being productive and if you're not a better you every single day, all you're doing is wasting that one life that you have. You're wasting it away. You're sitting on your ass watching TV all the time. That's not how you need to live. You need to develop your mind and your body, and it doesn't have to be bodybuilding. It doesn't have to be like I am, but you should always be doing something to better yourself. And that's what motivates me. That's what keeps me going. That is the biggest thing I think about every single day. Am I making myself better? So, how I was staying motivated was living through my passion and just trying to get better and better and better. And, it was through my diet, through my training and so on. And after that, people started coming up to me left and right and they're asking me, do you compete? Do you compete? I would say, no, I used to lift weights in front of people. I lift the heaviest weight possible when I was a power lifter on stage. I was like, I don't want to stand up on stage and flex in a bikini. Like, that's not what I want to do. And again, just people are coming up to me left and right. And I was like, do I really look good enough to stand on stage? And I remember this gentleman came up to me at the gym and he asked me again if I competed. And I said no. And he said, hey, I'm a retired bodybuilder. He said, you are wasting your potential. He said, people are noticing you here at the gym, but they're going to forget you. He said, if you're winning on stage, no one can take that away from you. He said, you're wasting your potential and you should get up there and do something with it. And he really struck home. I'm like, man, he got the competitive side of me going too. And I was like, all right, let's do this. I'm going to do one show. And I knew nothing about bodybuilding. I was following a few bodybuilders, on Instagram and so on. But I knew nothing about posing. So I was like, all right, I'll do men's physique. I'm gonna stick with that. My legs are my strongest point, but I don't know how to pose. So at that point, I did my first show, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with being on stage, and my first prep it was not how it was supposed to go. Mentally, I was not where I needed to be. That's a whole nother story there. But I fell in love with it, and I knew I could do so much better than I did the first time. And that's when I decided to go into classic physique. I wanted to show off the wheels, and I wanted to do everything, the real stuff. I didn't want to be pretty boy in the trunks. So I did 2 more shows. I won my class in my last show, and I knew that I wanted to go pro. I want to do this for a living. I want to get on the Olympia stage, and I want to keep moving forward. So that was kind of my journey. I'm going to stop there on that so we can get to some more questions. We can get to more in a later video. So the next question is going to be, I've mainly lifted for sport, power, strength, and hypertrophy. You being a bodybuilder, what sets, reps do you like to work with and strive for? So I kind of touched on this before with the periodization, but he's asking me specifically. So what worked for me was, again, I was a power lifter. So I did the blunt force trauma for years. I did it for about 4 or 5 years, and I developed a really good muscle base on my body. And at that point, what I started doing was volume. I was doing high repetitions, lower weights, and just adding those negatives again, like I talked about. And my mind to muscle connection is what I really focused on, and I started just taking on a whole new shape after that. And he asked what my sets and reps are for, what I was striving for with that, and I was going for, the sets kind of vary, 3, 4, 5 sets, but most of the time when I'm training volume, I'm getting those reps up there. I'm going anywhere from 12 to 20 reps, whatever my muscle is feeling good with. You got to go by how your body feels. So if you're feeling good on one exercise, hit a couple more sets. You don't have to limit yourself. If you say, I want 3 sets, and you go in, you're limiting yourself. If you're feeling good, go for 5 sets. That exercise is obviously working for you. So you got to learn what your body wants, but that's what worked for me. Again, just slowing down the motion, thinking about that muscle, and I don't use that heavy a weight at all, and my body's responding drastically. When I bumped up, if you look back at my pictures from my second show, which is when I first did classic physique, to my third show, my legs doubled in size, they doubled in dryness, and that's because I picked up volume so extreme with my legs. I stopped doing the heavy BS, and my legs took on a whole nother form at that point. All right, so as a PT and bodybuilder, working with numerous clients and working with a trainer, what is your take on fasted cardio / workouts? So us bodybuilders, we do a lot of fasted cardio when it comes to show time. So during our prep, we do fasted cardio because we need to bring our body fat down to a whole different extreme. However, as a personal trainer, I don't recommend fasted cardio myself to other clients. Most clients, if they are not training to compete, they're training for health, to bring their body fat down, but not to that extreme of a level. So fasted cardio, I don't recommend it to anyone unless they're elite. Fasted workouts, I don't recommend it to anyone, even if they are elite. I feel like you're burning the candle at both ends of the stick at that point because you have no nutrients in you to support muscle growth. So you're just kicking your body into overdrive. It's just getting confused at that point if you have nothing to support it during a workout. And when you talk about fasted cardio, the difference is when you're doing fasted cardio, you're not doing something intense. You're not trying to go through hypertrophy with that. You're just trying to get rid of some excess calories and body fat at that point. So for those that are doing extreme things like bodybuilding, fasted cardio is a great thing to insert into it. I'm not going to get into exact amounts because again, that's with the different individuals. However, with normal clients, you can get to your weight loss goals. You can achieve physiques that you want to get to without inserting fasted cardio. The only time I'd ever put it on is if I really had a stubborn body fat client and they weren't seeing the right results. But again, that's based on the individual. All right, so for someone who has interest in being a bodybuilder, what are some qualities they should look for in a bodybuilding coach? Here's what I believe with a bodybuilding coach. First off, they got to practice what they preach, and that goes with any trainer. If they've never done what they're telling you to do, that's not the right coach for you. You also need a coach that you know cares about you and what you're doing. You know, there's coaches out there that all they care about is their name and their team. They don't care about you. They just want their team name out there. And these coaches aren't staying in full contact with you. They're not giving you the proper regimens. They're just not giving you enough of their time. So I'm looking for a coach that has done it. They know from personal experiences how, nutrition timing and workouts work on their body and other clientele. Obviously looking at their other clients and seeing how they have done in the past, but making sure you have a coach that you know is going to be there for you and that you're their main priority and that they're not all about their name and their team name. All right, so the best time to take BCAAs. Can you take it on non-training days? How much a day? All right, so with BCAAs or essential amino acids, these can both be taken at multiple times. People have arguments of pre, post, during. Personally, what I always prescribe to my clients is what I believe in and what works for me. And that's either intra, so during your workout, or post-workout, after your workout. So the BCAAs and the EAAs, which do a little bit different things. Again, we can talk about the differences between the two. But they both are going to work good at these moments because they're going to allow you to have more endurance during your workout and they're going to aid in your recovery as well. Now, EAAs are going to allow protein synthesis and are going to aid in your muscle tissue building. And the BCAAs are going to help limit you from breaking down during and after your workout. So those are going to be the most optimal times for taking those. Yes, you can take them on your off days as well. And it says how much a day. You really don't need more than what's prescribed on your amino acid supplement. You'll see this big fad going on. You'll see these female amateur bodybuilders walking around with their gallons of water with amino acids in them, and that's not necessary at all. That's just a fad, right? Think about it this way. If you think about your body as a sponge, if you put a sponge in a bucket of water, or you put that same sponge in a pool of water, that same sponge is going to soak up the same amount of water no matter how much water is around it. So if you're taking extra scoops of BCAAs or EAAs, your body's not going to absorb all of that. You don't need all of that. You only need what your body can absorb. At that point, all you're doing is paying for colored water. And the other thing is, if you're sipping on them on a jug, if you're taking multiple scoops, you're wasting the multiple scoops. And on top of that, if your diet's on point or it's the way it should be, you don't need those extra scoops because you're getting the nutrients from your actual diet. And the other thing is, if you have one scoop in that gallon of water, you're diluting it so much. And I know you're not drinking that entire gallon through just your workout. So now you're not getting the amount of aminos you need during your workout because you're diluting it so much and spreading it throughout the day that it's not even going to do anything for your body. So just go with the recommended dosages. Risks and benefits of a keto diet. So I know keto has some studies done that it helps with different health issues and so on. However, again, it's a diet. Me personally, I cannot stand diets. You don't have to do a diet to lose weight. People always want this magical answer, this magical diet to get where they want to get to. All you have to do is eat clean foods, limit your portions, and eat them at the right time of the day and boost your metabolism. But people always want more. You don't need any fancy diet to do so. Yes, you got to shift around your macronutrients and get the right calories, but you don't need a diet like a keto diet. And here's the thing with keto. So a keto diet is shifting most of your nutrients to be fats, and you're really getting those carbs to a low number, literally nothing. But your body is meant to take energy from a carb source. And what you're doing is trying to switch your body to take energy from a fat source and release the ketones. Now, you can do so, and achieving ketosis will allow your body to use these fat sources for energy, and it's going to help you lower your body fat. But the biggest problem is most people that tell you they're doing keto, they are not doing it correct. They are not achieving ketosis. If you know Jim or Kathy or whoever that says they're doing keto and they tell you, oh, I got a cheat meal. When you're doing a keto diet, you don't get a cheat meal. You don't ever get a cheat. As soon as you have something that's not part of your keto diet, you totally went off of the path to ketosis. And the other thing is, as soon as you switch to keto, you're gonna lose body fat. You're gonna lose some weight because you're shifting everything your body's used to. But the thing is it's just like starting working out. If you have a lot of body fat and you've never worked out before and you work out finally, you're gonna lose a bunch of weight. In the beginning, you're like, holy cow, I just lost all this weight. However, if you don't maintain, if you don't keep up with it and continue doing it, you're not gonna lose more weight, and you're also gonna go backwards. So it may seem like a great thing in the beginning, but most people are not achieving what truly needs to be done with it. The other thing is, if you lose all this weight, if you're doing a keto diet and you go and say, I'm gonna go off of keto now, it's just like anything else. If you go off of it, you're just gonna gain everything back that you lost. And that's a lifestyle change that you have to make when you decide, I'm gonna go keto. So it's better not to make a lifestyle change. It's better to just portion control and eat the proper foods, and you don't have to go on an actual diet. So what should I look for in a personal trainer? So this is a really good question, because there's a lot of personal trainers out there that are not actually qualified and should not have the job that they hold. So as a client, and it amazes me how many clients don't ask anything when they're hiring a personal trainer. And that's because they don't know any better. They expect, all right, they got the title as a personal trainer, they must be qualified. But all these fitness centers are hiring people that are not qualified. And here's kind of my view on that. Fitness centers want a personal trainer to be certified. And yes, I believe certifications are huge. However, it's not everything. When I've been a personal trainer, I have met so many trainers that had huge certifications or went to school and got big degrees, and they didn't work out themselves. They didn't even know how to properly train someone on the floor. But because they had the degree, because they had the paperwork, they were considered a personal trainer. But yet they're out there hurting their clients. The other thing is, you get people like, you see a lot of these amateur bodybuilders that they start bodybuilding and they've only been working out for a couple years, and now they want to take on clients. They think because they now got into this new lifestyle that they can show other people how to live this lifestyle. But it takes a lot more knowledge than what you yourself is doing in the gym. Not what you are doing in the gym is going to work for everyone, because there are hundreds of different types. There's so many different types of people out there, and not one thing works for everyone. Everyone needs something completely different. And if you don't have the proper knowledge to back that up, you shouldn't be training anyone. So yes, I believe that you should be certified, but I also believe that you should know what you're doing on the floor. When a fitness center is hiring someone, they should be making this trainer show them, what would you do with this type of client? What would you do with this type of client? Train me on the floor so I can see that you know what you're doing. But they don't do that. So it's scary who you're getting out there. So when you're finding a trainer, just know a certification doesn't always mean everything, because anyone can read a book and pass a test. But it's how you perform on the floor. So when you meet someone, ask them, okay, what are your certifications? How long have you been a trainer? What types of clients have you worked with? Also ask them, do you have any pictures of before and afters? Do you have any stories from your personal clients for me to see? And ask them, say, hey, this is a big ticket item that I'm purchasing with you. If I go ahead with this, take me out on the floor for a free workout and show me that you know what you're doing. And when you're on the floor, obviously make sure that it makes sense and they're making you do proper form out on the floor. If they're not making you do proper form, or they seem like they don't know what they're doing, that's not the right trainer for you. The other thing is, make sure they're giving you attention. You know, many trainers are out on the floor and they're looking off into the rest of the gym when you're doing a set, or they're on their phone, or they're goofing off with their friends. That is not the right trainer. You need a trainer that's going to give you 100% focus. The entire time that you purchased with them, their focus is on you. Make sure they have energy too. You know, it should be a good time. It shouldn't be all serious work. You know, you need to enjoy your sessions and know that they're there and they're about you. So finding a personal trainer, again, just make sure that they're qualified and they know how to perform and take action. If they don't practice what they preach, they need to take care of themselves before they can take care of you. All right, being the most strict person I know with diet and exercise, what motivates you? How do you keep the drive all year while balancing your personal life? All right, so I kind of got into what motivates me a little bit earlier. So how do I balance this? How do I stay so strict all the time, especially with the personal life? And so again, I talked about what motivates me, and that's allowing my body to get better every single day, whether it's mentally or physically, always doing something to be productive, and just keep advancing through life. And that's my main motivator. And if I'm not getting better, I'm just dying at that point. You know, you're just living to die. So that's what keeps me going. That's always at the top of my head, you know. And so whatever it takes for you, whether it takes motivational videos or, you know, just talking in the mirror, hyping yourself up, it doesn't matter. Find what motivates you to keep yourself moving forward, so you're not sitting there on your ass doing nothing. But that's what motivates me. I mean, that's all it really takes, is just seeing myself grow and seeing myself get better and learn more and become smarter. And that's how I keep up with that. But the other thing is the diet. Now I'm going to touch on that because that's the hardest part for everyone. How can I stay strict with my diet? First off, obviously I'm trying to make a career out of this, so that's a big motivator. But the second thing before I wanted to make a career out of this was, when you eat so clean, and you eat clean all the time, and you've been doing it for an extended period of time, your body feels so clean. It feels light. It feels so good. It feels like every piece is functioning perfectly. And unfortunately for individuals that eat unhealthy or they don't keep clean foods in their diet, they're never going to understand this feeling. All they're going to hear is me say what the feeling is, but they're never, until you feel what that feels like, you're not going to understand. But I'm telling you right now, when you know how good it feels to be so clean and your body functions so perfectly, you never want to touch a bad food. You never want to go back to crap because you never want to feel sluggish. You don't want to feel tired. You want to feel the way you do when everything's on point. Now, how it comes into personal life, I mean, here's the thing. You gotta, if you have true friends and family, they're gonna understand what you're doing because they're gonna know what's important to you. If your friends are getting on you because you don't want to go out and drink with them, or they don't understand what you're doing, they're not good friends because they're not backing you up. A good friend should know that you can just go hang out with them and be cool and not have to drink or not have to eat bad foods. So with a personal life, it just comes down to, what do I truly want in life? If you really want to be healthy, if you really want that, you're gonna do it, is all it comes down to. You have to be mentally strong, and unfortunately most people are not. You just have to dig deep, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, I crave those good foods here and there, but I don't cheat often. I have it once in a great while, and that's because I don't need it. And you need to learn that you don't need those bad things in life. All right, guys, last question, I gotta go. If we want to get deeper into those questions that I have answered, go ahead and leave some comments, or again, get into my DMs and I'll do another Q&A later. If a lot of people want more about one topic, I'll do a video just on that one topic for you guys. The last question is, what is the difference between BCAAs and EAAs? So that's a good question, because BCAAs were huge for the longest time. Everyone took BCAAs and there's so many studies done on it. And then EAAs came out and they're kind of like the new kid on the block in a while, or for a matter, because people started switching over from BCAAs to EAAs, and all of a sudden studies started coming out. Do you actually need BCAAs? So here's kind of the difference. So a BCAA is your branched chain amino acids. Both are amino acids, and amino acids in your body are the building blocks of protein cells. So pretty much is broken down protein cells on a more micronized level. So a BCAA, this isn't complete. So the EAAs, this has all of your essential amino acids, as I discussed earlier within your complete protein sources. You have all those essential aminos that your body needs from different foods or the supplementation. The BCAAs only have 3 of the amino acids. So they have leucine, isoleucine, and they have valine. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow your body to still have more endurance during your workout, and it's going to help you recover. However, the BCAAs are not a muscle builder. What they're going to do for recovery is they're going to allow you to not have your muscle break down, because what happens is your muscles break down and then they build up. So they're going to allow you not to break down as far, which is going to help your body recover better. So that's where the EAAs come in, is the muscle building. So BCAAs are still good to take, but you just need to know the difference and what you're trying to achieve by taking those supplements. So if you still want the endurance and you still want the help of not breaking down as far, BCAAs are fine. However, now the EAAs are going to be the better of the two, because you still have all of those amino acids from the BCAAs in the EAAs. So you have the same 3 plus the other 6 of them. So you have all 9 in there. And the EAAs, these are now going to help you build. So they're going to do everything the BCAAs did, but now they're going to help you build muscle tissue, that lean muscle tissue, and they're really going to help you recover and build the muscle afterwards. So I would definitely recommend taking the EAAs, but the BCAAs are still great. I took BCAAs for the longest time during my working out, and 10 years, so I switched over to EAAs just recently. It's fine to take either or. So, but that's my last of the questions, guys. I appreciate you watching this video. Just want to give a shout out to all my supporters and everyone that's been with me along the way and trying to see what I do with this. If you guys want, please help me out. Give me a like, subscribe, share this video, and there'll be more videos coming at you.